Started?
Yeah, it's been
That's
started.
wild. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 3, 2, and welcome back to the This Is Therapy podcast. Today we have
Chika?
Chika. No nicknames, nothing.
No, Chika. Iwamadi.
And Wambadi. I wanted to say your last name, but that's not how I was gonna say it. I've been practicing. It wasn't anything close to
How were
that.
you going to say?
I thought it started like. I thought it was like Igbo something.
Okay. Iwamadi.
I did not know. How does it start with the I?
Yeah.
I guess.
Some people say Iwamadi.
No, I was just like, I don't know the last time I saw your last name spelled, so I was like, low-key just throwing in a bunch of African last names and guessing that's what it is. I got the like end part, but I don't know. But that was a lame intro for her. This is Chika. Wait, how many records have you broken already? She broke like 10 of her records at SMU. She's going for what, Nigeria right now. She's going to be on the 444, some shit like that. Join the 800.
You're boosting.
How many junior Olympic gold medals do you have? She got at least 10 or some shit, something light.
Why are you telling these people all this information? I don't know if it's that accurate.
Because I looked it up. It's right here. I looked up Chika on.
Okay. They're going to look me up and they're not going to see what you just said.
What are they going to see?
I don't know. They're just going to see. They'll see everything. It's just not going to be that.
Chika is cold at track, though.
I try.
Why aren't you wearing a boot?
Because they released me from wearing it for now.
Do you think you'll run this? Or you're done?
Conference is next week. This is it. Like, it's over. I'm not running.
Damn, so you're not going to be able to run your senior year?
Mm-mm.
Are you going to get your master's?
Not right now.
Whenever you get your master's, are you going to be able to run? Would you still be eligible?
I still have a year left. I don't know if I'm going to take it, though.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't think I want to be in the collegiate system anymore.
Why? How is that?
Different, hard, but it also depends on the program. Like, our program it's something.
Why do you say that? It's like super competitive or just like strict?
It's not. There's no intensity like in our practices.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was harder at Rockwall? Or not harder, but like there's more?
No. High school track and college track is way different no matter whether like the college system is good or bad. It's always going to be different.
Yeah, I feel that. What about, you did outside of school track. How is that compared to college?
Intense. The competitions were really intense, especially like Junior Olympics, because everybody's cold.
Yeah.
So you can't really not be cold. College or like summer track, yeah.
So did you prefer summer track over college or intensity wise?
Intensity wise, like my freshman year, it was better. And then like after that, we lost a bunch of like our seniors, so it was just me and then another girl, and sometimes it just the intensity wasn't the same, so we couldn't really like emulate what it would be like at a meet compared to like practice, you know.
Then how did you like keep going? Like self-motivation stops at some point. You can just be motivated 24/7.
Self-motivation never stopped for me though, because I'm too scared to lose. So whatever I have to do to make sure I'm like the best.
What do you mean scared?
I don't like losing. Like, not because like competition wise, it's just me, like it makes me feel like I failed. I don't like feeling like that. So if I have to train really, really hard, I'm gonna do it, you know.
I respect that.
Yeah.
So what would you say was, because you missed out sophomore year? Was that when you got injured?
No, I missed out just this year.
This year?
Yeah, sophomore year was like COVID, so we didn't have outdoor season.
Yes. When were you injured? You were injured before, though.
Yeah, I was injured, but I was only out for a little bit and was still competing, so I was fine.
So, is this your first big injury then?
Yeah, this would be the first like injury that took me out like an entire, basically indoor and outdoor season.
So How do you feel about that?
Um, honestly, I don't think I've like let it hit me yet.
Really?
I've been trying to block it out because it was senior year, so I really thought I was gonna,
Go
go to
crazy.
nationals, win conference, like all of it. So I
Were
should
you
have.
were you on track too?
Yeah.
Cause I feel like every year I always
Yeah.
saw.
Every year it was getting better.
Yeah,
And
every
better.
year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Cause I remember freshman year. I think you broke the record freshman year.
Yeah.
And then every year from that, I would
I
go on
kept
Twitter.
winning.
I see
Uh-huh.
SMU. Chika broke her VR.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, God. Said that shit to
Yeah.
DeMichael. I'm like, hey, nigga. I'm telling you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that's my nigga. I train her. She's only good like
You was
that.
telling him that
Yeah.
you trained me?
Yeah, you and Morgan. I tell everyone, you, Morgan, both Morgans.
So you're taking credit for...
Of course. 100%.
I didn't even know you was doing that.
You don't got to. That's why I'm a good coach. That's why I'm a good coach.
Okay. I'll let it slide. That's cool.
I mean, the credit's there. But, damn. I feel like I remember whenever I was running, every other week I was injured. But that was just because I was a shitty runner and I didn't stretch or whatnot. But, like, being your first injury in senior year, like, I don't know, like, I just felt like that. You really haven't thought about it? So this whole, you've been out for, what, about 5 months now then? And you just never let it hit you?
I don't even think that I'm trying to not let it hit me. I think just mentally I'm blocking it, like, unconsciously. I don't think I'm trying to. Because it's a lot, like... No, like, the feeling when you know how good you can be, and like you can reach there, like on no cocky stuff, like you're that good, and then it just doesn't happen.
Nah, we could be cocky on this show.
Sure. Yeah, that's just and then like indoor season, I was still injured. I didn't do anything. I competed here and there, but I didn't even run the 400 until conference. And it was bad. It was really bad. I got like 6th place. And the last time I ran conference indoor, I won. And then...
How was getting 6th place, like, mentally for you?
Tough. It was a lot. That day was a lot, too. Like, it was...
Why?
I don't know. Well, because I just really wanted to live up to my own expectations. And then I didn't. But I also knew I had no control over it, which makes it worse when you can't control what happens,
Because it's not like you could go back to, like, you know what, I did have a bad practice or I ate
I
bad.
didn't have bad practices. And I didn't do any. I did everything I had to do and I needed to do.
Life was just a bitch.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Injuries just...
How did you get injured? Was it like during practice? Because you injured your...
Achilles. It's like a combination of things because I've always had like Achilles problem, but I always managed it. Whether it hurt or not, I still trained and I still competed. And then it just kept getting bad. And then eventually I couldn't really keep running on it. And then I had to go to the doctor. I had to get an MRI, like the whole nine.
Oh, so it was like bad.
Yeah, it was bad. And then also like I got a herniated disc
on your back.
Yeah, so all of that affected everything. Like my hamstring started overcompensating for my back. My Achilles began to overcompensate for my hamstring. Like everything, all on my left side or my right side, and it just kept getting worse because I was still training on. Like some people don't get because some people don't get that when we train or we go to rehab or we go to treatment, it's not always about fixing it because to fix that injury, you have to just not compete. You have to not be on it. I can't just not be on it because I'm on scholarship, so I can't just sit around and wait 3, 4, 5 months for my leg to heal. So it's all about like pain management. So we were always just trying to manage the pain and doing what we could to get it to the least amount of pain possible.
Did you take any type of like full break off?
Well, it worked out like with COVID, as bad as that sounds, because like what was it, like March of 2020 when everything happened?
Because like the week after spring break.
It was
type shit.
It was like before our first outdoor meet was when we were lifting, and on my like second rep of deadlift, I felt it, and I got the MRI and everything, and they were like, yeah, you have to register your outdoor season, you can't do anything. And then like the day before that, they had already told us that we weren't gonna have an outdoor season. So already, like, regardless, I was out, and COVID just, helped out. Yeah, so I wasn't on it at all. And then we came back, and I was fine because obviously I wasn't on my back from March all up until like November, kind of.
Yeah.
And then it was fine.
So do you think if COVID happened a year later, and then so you ran freshman, sophomore, COVID happened junior, and then
COVID happened like
no, and just like just
okay,
saying,
yeah.
and it happened during junior year, and then you ran again your senior year. Like right now, you would have been more healthy because you would have had that COVID break.
I really don't. I don't know. I have not a clue because junior year was great. Like I still did well. I PR'd. I went to nationals.
Yeah. So you had no pain junior year?
No, I did.
I
just kept.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Chika, you're different. Because the way you run, I thought, I didn't know.
No, I was always in pain. It was just manageable. I could just still run on it. And I just really, really wanted to PR. I wanted to break 52. I wanted to do that. And I broke it, but not in the open event. I split a 51.
4x4.
In the 4x4. And, it always hurt. The motivation to be good was higher than the pain that I was feeling, I guess. And
That's a quote.
Is it?
You should put that on the shirt. If you don't, I will.
Okay.
The motivation to be great was higher than the pain.
Yeah. That was a good quote. I'm not gonna lie. Now that you just said it, that's a good quote.
Oh yeah, that shit going on the shirt. Oh damn. Where does that come from? Is that just something like you picked up on your own, or was it like your family? Because like I know your brother plays sports.
Yeah.
Does your sister play sports?
No, she didn't play sports.
Then you have another one.
Yeah, I have another brother.
Does he play sports?
Yeah, he's a freshman in high school.
Freshman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents play sports? Or?
I mean, yeah, when they were in Nigeria, I'm sure they did. Like, I know my dad played soccer. My mom did tennis for a little bit. But it was never, like, intense or, like, a really serious, like, level of competition for them.
So, I know my dad personally. I remember he came to my middle school basketball game. And after the first thing he says, like, wow, y'all really suck. How did y'all let them beat y'all like that? I went to LA. We played against Shaw. Did you go to Kane? No, you went to Williams.
No, I went to Williams.
Yeah, we played against Kane. I remember this, bro. And I don't know, brother. Kane always won district. He was like, why does that matter? Like, y'all sucked. Y'all should have done better. And so from there, it just made the mindset of, there's no excuse. Just do what you got to do. So, like, how did you get to this mindset? It was like, there's no losing. There's only winning. There's no such thing as second place.
It wasn't really that. It was more like, how do I put it? It was more like fear. It wasn't like, oh, I have to be great because there's no reason not to be. It was more like, I'm too scared to lose. I don't like that feeling. It was always just anxiety and fear. And like failure was just not something that I could deal with well. Mentally, yeah. Because any failure that I experienced would get to me at like such a different level. So
I do remember, I think it was freshman year, I texted you because it was the first time I was running indoor. And I texted you, I was like, how do you do this? Because like I was scared. I was like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And that was the first time I felt like throwing up before a race. Before I get like little butterflies and whatnot. Yeah. But I never felt like I was feeling like actually throw up just because of running. I texted you that and you're like, yeah, that's normal. I'm like, no, Nick, that's not normal. That's not normal. I didn't know. So this is
normal.
Nah.
Anxiety attacks. I would get like starting, it was always bad, but especially junior year, I would get anxiety attacks. Every single meet, anxiety attacks. And every meet, it kept getting worse and worse and worse. By the time I got to regionals, it was a full-on panic attack, full-on crying, full-on throwing up, everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad.
And there's a good amount of meets in indoor.
Yes,
There's like
every
12
time.
each.
Mhm. Yeah, and then you would never know, because I'll still step on that track and I'll still run a 52. I'll still get first or second or third or whatever place it may be, but like no one knows. I mean, few people like on my team knew, but no one knew like this is what was happening right before she just did this. Like it was bad.
Why do you put that much pressure on yourself?
I don't know. I really don't. Like it's always been like that since 7th grade.
Are you
Always.
serious?
I remember, oh my gosh, I remember in 7th grade, it was the first time I had ever done track and field, like ever. I didn't even know what that was. I was running the 400 the next day, and I just remember like some of my coaches were telling me, there's a girl, it was Morgan Talley. They were like, there's a girl, she's running the 400 or the 200, and she's really good, and you're going to be able to compete against her. And the level of fear, I was like, I don't want to compete against somebody who's better than me or who can be. I didn't like that. And that night, the way that I started working out, I went on the treadmill, I did the little bicycle, I did all the stretch, like everything. You're not supposed to do that kind of like training the night before you run or compete. And I did all of that, hoping that it would help me run faster the next day. And the next day I got dead last because my body could not.
Yeah.
It was so tired from the night before. And I got dead last. And it was like, it was so heartbreaking because I didn't know why.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing
No,
at
you can laugh.
No, I'm laughing at the fact that it's Morgan.
I
of all
know.
people.
I mean, I didn't even know Morgan at the time.
No.
I didn't know who she was or anything.
Morgan, you out here scaring people.
I know. Now me and Morgan we always be trying to talk every time, here and there.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, having that edge at that mindset at such a young age is good. Obviously, you didn't use it in the right way, but you didn't know how to.
Yeah.
But
I wish I did.
no, yeah. But that's just coaches. That's just what coaches are for,
Yeah.
especially at that time. Did you have good coaches? Well, how was the middle school coaches? I loved my middle school coach. I'm not going to lie. My middle school coach is the reason I kept on running track. Yeah. Because I was done. I was just like, who the fuck wants to run? Like, I already have to do that shit for punishment. So I was like, why would I choose to do that for a sport?
Yeah.
And then, what was his name? Coach Smith. And so he was just like, do it. I was like, fuck it.
And you just did it?
Him and Coach Fraser. And then Coach Fraser was going to be the head coach at Heath. So I was like, I already know the coach. I like him. So, yeah. But then he left like a little bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He left because he wanted to be a head baseball coach, I want to think.
Okay.
I mean, good for him, but broke my heart. Because I had him for 3 years. I had him all middle school.
Yeah.
And then freshman. And then especially when he told me he was moving up to be the head track coach at the same school, I was like, oh, yeah, we're a turn. First year, I think we got second in district with him. It was the first time Heath boys did that in a minute. And so I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the best year, bro. We're going to, all 4 years, me and you, Fraser. A week later, he tells me he's transferring. I'm like, all right, yeah.
Nah, that sucks.
Some
coaches don't even understand, like the level of, like, belief that we put in them. And, like, I feel like our mindset and the way we train sometimes is in the hands
of a coach.
of the coach.
Because if I don't like you,
you're not getting much out of me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it is, yeah.
And, like, cross-country, I did good because I like to coach. But track, I wanted my cross-country coach to move to track, but she was like, no, I need a social life.
Oh, that is true.
No, yeah, and that's why the same thing. Once she told me that, I kind of understood why Fraser left because he wanted to do something great for his name. I'm like, no, I could respect that.
Yeah.
But still, fuck you, respectfully.
I hope he's not saying this.
Nah, I doubt it. I don't even know what he does now. That was years ago. If you are seeing this, Coach Fraser, I do love you. You're a snake, but I love you.
That's what it.
So what's your plans? You graduate this semester in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I still have a summer class to take.
Yeah.
And then I'm done.
I mean, still, fuck you.
Yeah.
What? I mean, what is your summer class?
It's like drawing.
Okay, I was going to say, is it something hard?
It's not even nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, no stress on that. What are your plans? Do you think you can run?
Honestly, like, I'm definitely gonna keep training in the summer, and hopefully maybe run different meets unattached and just see how that goes. Just because like I know that it's still there, like I can still do it. So, but for now, I'm really just focused on. I have like an internship in the summer. Just kind of getting my career, moving forward somewhat.
In what?
Statistics, data analysis, stuff like that.
I took a stat class this year.
Intro?
No.
Oh.
It's quantitative data. It's for my sociology major.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
Was it hard?
nah, yeah, it was terrifying.
I'm dead.
I've never taken. As the last math class I took was freshman year, and that was freshman algebra, some shit like that.
I never did that.
No, yeah, because I didn't need to take math. I'm a sociology major.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why I was
Okay.
like, oh, I'm done with math. And then they're like, this is your last class you have to take. And I'm just thinking it's a normal sociology class. I'm going to have to, like, go out there, do sociology shit, research. And first assignment, I look, and it's like just a shit ton of numbers. I'm like,
Pain.
I emailed him. I was like, I think you put on the wrong assignment. 'Cause I never see numbers with sociology.
Yeah.
I was genuinely confused. Because I was looking at the notes. I'm like, this looks like math. Emailed him. He didn't reply. He probably thought I was joking.
Yeah.
Looked at the assignment. Saw a bunch of more numbers. I'm like, I think this is like a statistics or something. He's like, yeah, this is basically a calculus class. I'm like, what do you mean? What you mean by that? Like,
What do you mean by that?
yeah. And then like, cause I don't look at syllabus either. I only look at due dates.
See, that's your problem.
Nah, what's?
You would have been new if you looked at
No,
the
yeah,
syllabus.
that's why he thought I was joking. And then we got on a Zoom call, and he like broke it down, and I was like, bro, what the fuck did I get myself? And I call my advisor. I'm like, yo, get me out of this class. He's like, no, this is like a mandatory class for your major. He's like, this is the last sociology class you have to take. I'm like, great. When I tell you for the last, we've been in school, 10 weeks or some shit? 8 weeks? For the last 8 weeks, I've been talking to my professor every Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
It was that bad.
Bro, what? I'm not good at math. There's a reason I'm sociology, minor criminal justice, and history.
What do you want to do?
At first, I was going to go to law school. That was my plan because I like reading and writing.
Yeah.
So that's why I pick all those because I was like, I'd be damned if I do any science or anything with numbers. So I was like, anything honestly with writing, reading, and just like kind of like data collecting. Like I could just read a law book and understand why that law matters and pick out the like important parts of it and then just remember it. So I was just like, and I like arguing. So I was like, yeah, law school for the longest time. But then I was just like, I was talking, do you remember Christian he went to Keith. He ran track. He might have not actually because I think he was.
I don't be knowing these people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I think he went to law school. Him and then this other girl I met. I was talking to them, and they both were just like, they weren't trying to scare me off of law school. They were just like letting me know, putting me on game. And these are both two like smart people that I looked up to, and they're just like, yeah, law school's gonna whip your ass. And they're like, law school, because they were like straight A students. If they got a 85, or like an 89, they're gonna go to the professor, see what they can do to get a 90. And they're like, yeah, right now my highest grade is like a 87. And they're like, and I'm extremely happy it's that. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm used to cheating. I ain't gonna cap. I don't think you can cheat at law school, bro.
I don't think you can.
I was like, damn. And like law school's still the end goal, I feel like. But I told like law school is for everything I've done up to now was for law school. Like whenever I wrote the book, I was like, I need something to put on my resume. And it was during COVID, so I was like, write a book. You're already writing random poems. So I was like, let me just write a book. So I wrote a book, published it, so I could put it on my resume.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started this. I was just like, oh, this would be something cool
Mm-hmm.
to put on my resume. But then I was just like, as I started doing it more, I was just like, honestly, this seems like something I enjoy more than going to law school. And I want to, before I go to law school, I want to become a paralegal to even see if I would even enjoy being a lawyer. Do you know what a paralegal is?
Kind of.
It's like a lawyer's assistant,
Okay.
a fancy way of saying that.
Okay.
So pretty much I'll just be around lawyers all the time to see what they do. And I'll do all like the heavy work. Like I'll do all the setting up appointments with the clients, going through court cases, making sure they have everything they need for the court cases, and then they go and argue. So that's pretty much what a paralegal is. And so I was like, if I could do that for more than 6 months without wanting to like kill myself, I felt like I could be a lawyer. And as I was thinking, like, law school's expensive and it's mentally tasking. So I was like, before I do that, I really want to make sure this is something I want to do.
Yeah.
So, and fuck school, to be honest, right now. I almost dropped out this semester.
What?
Bro, I didn't turn in anything. I told my sister this last week. The first month of school, I didn't turn anything in. That's why and that's the other thing. That's why I didn't know anything about the sociology class, because I was like 2 weeks behind, and I just saw hella numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first assignment was like introduction, and then he jumped right into it. So yeah, I don't know. I was just I couldn't convince myself to open my laptop and do homework, and I really just don't know. I did everything else. I went to work. I was working out. I was still making videos, still making content. I just could not convince myself that school was something I needed in my life at this point. And then I was talking to Betty. She's like, bro, it's literally your last semester. I'm like, I know, but it's just like, I feel like if I open that laptop, I'm going to die. Like, I'm either going to break my computer or I'm going to mentally break down.
Yeah.
And I was like, stop being a bitch. I just did it. And 3 months later, here we are, about to graduate.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I might drop out of a class before that.
Stop playing. You too far
I still got finals. My finals are easy, but
yeah,
I still got 3 of them bitches I gotta do. They're kind of lame as hell.
Yeah, school's not for me.
No, and see, yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Like,
school's not for a lot of people though. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
But I feel like I needed to come to school to see what I did not want to do.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I tell people don't go to school if you don't really need it, but at the same time, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
At least your freshman year, even if it's just to like get drunk.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to.
Yeah, just that like social aspect.
Yeah, social aspect. And I feel like school also kind of teaches you discipline.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Well, at least for me, because especially like as an athlete, we had no choice but to be disciplined. So.
Was your coach, I don't want to say like parenty, but was your coach like, make sure you get this, make sure you do that?
Well, see, my freshman year, I had a different coach than the coaches that I have now. Because after freshman year, we got a whole new brand new set of coaches. My freshman year, the coach that I had was like, almost became like a mentor for me. So he really was, I guess, almost like a second father to me. So that one helped me academically because he was always like, you need to get your work done. You need to get past this. I don't know why you have this grade or that grade, like a dad would do. And then also on the athletic side, he knew me. He knew exactly how I was. So that was refreshing, and that made it easier for me mentally. Once he had to leave because of all the new coaches, it was a completely different dynamic. It just was not the same type of relationship that I had with the previous coach that I have with the coach we have now. So since then, I haven't really had that figure in my life that he played while he was here.
Right. That's 3 years. You haven't bonded that deeply?
You said what?
I said it's been 3 years. You haven't bonded that deeply with your coach?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like you don't want to, or is it just a coach? Like
It's
the environment?
It's just the coach. It just wasn't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. It's not like he's a bad guy or anything, but we just did not agree on a lot of stuff. Like, we clashed a lot personality wise, I think, and also in terms of like the way he approached me and approached like training. It just didn't match with how I felt like, because I feel like every athlete knows exactly like, this is what I need to be great. Like, this is the type of training
especially
I
at
need.
this time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you know what you need, and then it's the coach job to kind of like
To facilitate that.
Like to get you out your comfort zone a little bit,
Right.
but for the most part, it should be like y'all should be
Yeah.
like eye to eye. No.
Yeah. And we weren't. We never were. And I mean, our relationship has gotten better, but after I graduate, am I ever gonna call him up to reminisce on old times? No. Am I gonna call up my old coach that I had before I reminisce? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, even my high school coach, Coach Mack, I still reach out to him. We still talk here and there.
Is he the skinny tall dude?
No, that was Coach Howell. Coach Mack was the shorter guy.
I remember Coach Howell. He was the cross country one, right?
Yeah, he was cross country.
I liked him.
Yeah,
I didn't even go to that school. I liked him.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Like, the way, like, if it was Coach Miller, that was my coach my freshman year. Like, if he tells me right now, go run through that brick wall, I'm running through the brick wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If this guy tells me go run through that brick, I'm like, why would you tell me to do that? That's the kind of.
Where did he go? Your freshman coach? Because I feel like you told me.
He went to Louisville.
Oh, I almost said LSU. I knew it was something with the L though.
Yeah. So, is it Louisville or Louisville? Louisville.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Louisville.
Okay.
I think it's Louisville.
I think it's Louisville.
So fuck front. That's your man. You should know.
No, I don't. NCAA rules don't even let us talk to him anyway. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because he's a different coach. He's in a different program.
So you can't talk to him?
I mean, we're not supposed to communicate with them.
Why?
I mean, it's just the rules.
Like, you can't even say.
Like, if I saw him at a meet, obviously I can be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" But like
you're in this text to catch up.
Communicating is not something we're supposed to be doing. No.
I can understand for like football because you can exchange plays, but like, what are you gonna?
Yeah,
tell?
I mean, but they have to keep it the same level for every sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That's intense.
It
No,
was
that's
hard.
low-key kind of true because I remember whenever I was going from Iowa to come down to Texas, the coach was like, I can't talk to you until your coach approves it. I was like, what the fuck? That nigga kind of know about me.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know it was that. I just thought he was being a little bitch.
No, that's the rules. They could lose their job.
That's tense.
Mm-hmm.
So what has been, besides like the PRs, besides the injuries, what were like the top things or like the best moments, and what was the worst moments in track?
Best moments. That's a really good question. Because the truth is, I don't think I experienced my best moment.
What do you mean?
Because from the beginning, like, I knew my best moment, like, peak was going to nationals, whether it was indoor or outdoor, making it that far for my own individual event, and running, like, breaking 52. I knew that was my best moment, and that's not something that I've done. So I feel like I was just really close to that. So I can't really look back and be like, this was my best moment. Like, I would say it was winning conference my sophomore year, but even then, like, I was ahead of the entire pack by over a second. Yeah. So,
Very serious.
yeah, like, on the conference list, I was number 1 with the 53, and then number 2 time was like almost 55. So it was like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So the goal was not winning conference, because we all knew unless there was some freak accident, I was gonna win. The goal was like, I need to run 52 indoors. I need to go to nationals. I'm close, but I need to get there.
Did you end up making it to nationals from that time?
No, I didn't go to nationals for the 400 at all, for indoor at all.
Why not?
I didn't make it. I didn't have the time. It was a top 16 time, and I was like 20 something. Yeah.
What were they running? What time were
They were running crazy time. I would have had to run a 52.7 to make it to nationals, to be the number 16th time, and I ran a 53.2.
That's not terrible. That's like the difference between getting out your blocks and holding your speed.
Basically, but
Yeah.
also remember, like, if you see the
But that's
video,
just-
I was so far ahead. There
Yeah.
was no
Competition, nothing
there
to push
was nothing
you.
pushing me.
Yeah.
Then
Damn.
yeah, so I didn't even get to do that. And then it was like, definitely outdoor season. If this is what I'm running, indoor season is happening outdoor. And then hurt my back, and then COVID, and then didn't happen.
So your back was the first thing I heard it, and then it led to your Achilles.
Well, the Achilles issue was always kind of there. We just
Okay.
managed it. It was always fine. But the back made the Achilles worse because of all the overcompensating
Yeah.
and whatever anatomy was involved with that.
Heard.
Yeah.
What would you say was your lowest part?
The anxiety. The lowest was my junior year. It was like regionals, and there was 2 rounds. There was the first round and the second round. Second round, top 12 go to nationals. So it's all nationals, but this was like the very first half of nationals. So the second day, it was finals, and I just really wanted to make it, and I didn't. I PR'd. I ran like 52.2 and got 5th in my heat.
For national?
Yeah, for finals, for top 12 to go. And that was the lowest because that day I was already like feeling so much better than I had been the previous day. I was like, okay, I can do this. And I was quoting all these verses, and my parents had prayed for me. My parents had came and watched the day before, so they were watching on the TV at home. Like, everyone was rooting for me because, like, if there was ever a time that it should happen, that was the time that it was supposed to happen. Like, my old coaches had told me, the volunteer coaches had said, like, this is it. You can do this. There's no reason why you can't, like, and it was true, like, this was like my peak of my season. So there was no reason why I couldn't have gone 51 or whatever time was required to make it. And it just didn't happen. And it was not me. It was just not, I guess, my time. But that was devastating. So that was probably my lowest moment for me.
So you having this like fear of failure, how do you handle it?
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't handle it very well still. So.
To this, and when did that happen?
Oh, it's been like this. Like I said, since 7th grade.
So
Always.
like, so losing that 200-meter race in 7th
Devastated
grade,
me.
even like to today.
Yeah, even
so
when
like
I think about it, I'm like, yeah. Because I haven't forgotten that. I remember every single time I've ever lost. And when I say lose, I'm not just talking about second place or whatever. I'm talking about when I knew what I was supposed to do and it didn't happen. That, for me, that was losing. Yeah, I remember all of them.
How do you sleep? Is this why you don't sleep?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah.
You think that's a lot on you?
I mean, it probably is, but like I feel like I don't know what it's like to not have that.
Yeah.
So I think I've just kind of adapted to it, I guess.
Did you? Were you born in Nigeria? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, you grew up there for a little bit, like a few years.
Yeah.
And you came over here. When did you came over here? Like in 6th grade? Or
No. I came here in 2005.
What grade was that?
I was 5 years old, so.
Ah.
Yeah.
What? Was that like 1st grade or some shit?
Well, I didn't go to pre-K. I went to kindergarten. So I started out in kindergarten.
Damn. I just want to, I don't know, like, how you have that. Like, what drives you like that?
Not a clue. I've gone to sports psychologists. I mean, nothing they say helps because at the end of the day, like, it's just words. and I'm the one who has to learn to internalize the words that they're giving to me and use that to overcome like those fears and those mental issues that I'm facing. But I've just never found that breakthrough for me, so it's just not something that's happened. I don't know.
How do you think you're going to handle not running anymore? If you never, like, if this was your last season, Chika never puts on a pair of spikes, how do you think you're going to handle this within the next 5 years? Just waking up at 5 a.m. or what? What time do you wake up for work? I don't know.
I'm usually up at like 7.
7. Instead of getting up at 7 to eat a granola bar to head to practice, you're waking up at 7, getting coffee to go to work.
Regret. Like a lot of it, probably. I think that's why, like, I'm not. This is the first time that I'm really talking about it. Like, I'm being forced to, because I can't just be like, I'm not talking about this. Like,
No, you can't.
Not me, yeah, but like, this is the first time that I'm actually like allowing myself to somewhat like speak on it, because I've just internally like I've been asked, like some of my teammates have been like, that's so like sad, you're not competing anymore, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, da da da. And I'm like, I'm like, it is what it is, but inside I'm like, but yeah.
And it's kind of like one of those things, the more you think about it, like, thinking about it isn't going to make it any better.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember, what was it? Freshman year, I pretty much, like, tore my knee. And, like, I remember I was talking to Morgan and Kyra, and they're just like, that sucks. And I stopped talking to them. I'm like, that's the last shit I need. I don't need that mental. I'm already, like, physically hurt.
Yeah.
I don't need to be mentally hurt. So, like, being forced, especially that was freshman year. I can only imagine, like, senior year, and especially having, like, a bright future. And everyone's like, oh, that's how. Like, all right, nigga, like, shut the fuck up. I don't need you to say that.
Yeah.
I need you to be like, oh, no, you're going to bounce back or some shit.
I didn't even want to hear that because I knew the truth. That's another thing for me. Like, as much as I do enjoy, like, speaking on things because it does make me feel better, like, I know the truth. Like, there was not bouncing back from this for me. You know what I mean? Like, there was not, like, no matter what they said, oh, you can do it, you'll bounce back. I'm not. And that's not being negative. That's the truth. Like,
Yeah, being
I'm
realistic.
not coming back from this one.
Yeah.
At least not, like, collegiately. At least not right now. It's not happening. I'm not going to conference. And even if I did, I'm not. There's no point in me stepping out there on the track to run if I'm not going to be running at my top, like, at my best. Because why am I running a 54 right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why go out there if you know you're not going to be 100% Chika?
Yeah, there's no point. And I remember, like, indoor, I went to conference. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have gone to conference because I was not ready. I hadn't been training. I was still injured, like, still coming back from all of that. There was just so many variables that I shouldn't have been running indoor, and I did. And I remember one of the coaches came up to me and was like, yeah, this other coach from this other school, they've been asking about you. They want to know, like, why you haven't been competing. And I told them, well, you're going to see her now. You're going to see her compete now. And they were all looking forward to seeing how you do. They're all shaking in their boots. Like no one thought I was going to come because I hadn't been running the 4. So, and obviously the people at conference, they know who I am. So I come into conference and they're all like, whoa, like, why is she here? And now everyone's like, this might put like a little pin in our plans, especially for the 400 and for the 4x4. And when he told me that, I melted because I was like, that's not how it's going to be right now at all. And I step on the track. I run prelims. I make it through prelims to finals for conference. And I step on the track for finals, and they do the introductions. And this lane is UCF, and this lane is Cincinnati, and then lane 6, Chika Iwamdi, the reigning 400-meter indoor champion, SMU.
Those lanes you just said, were those like the actual people in them?
Yeah.
So you really like these things like visually.
Are you kidding me? I play them in my head all the time. I remember it like it just happened. I remember exactly how I felt walking up to that track, knowing that the girl 2 lanes behind me had just ran a 52 and was bound to run even faster. The girl behind me had just split a 53, and I haven't touched 53. I haven't even gone 54. I haven't even ran. You know what I mean? So I already knew what was going on behind me. And I couldn't focus on what was happening in front. Like, everything behind me was overwhelming me. So I knew everything that was happening. And then the announcer starts talking about how I just won conference the last time we had it, and I have the SMU record, and I have this, and I have that, and like hyping me. And I'm like, no, he didn't. And then on your marks, I get on my mark. My body is shaking, and I'm afraid. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And he goes, set, and I set, and then the gun goes off, and I go, and I feel like I'm going in slow motion. Like, I feel myself pushing as hard as I can, and it's just not happening. And then those girls behind me that I knew was going to be in front of me, they begin to get in front of me, and I can't get past them. And then we cross the finish line. The girl in front breaks the conference record for the 400. Like, and in my head, I'm thinking, I was supposed to do that. That's what I wanted to do. And then the girl that got second place, she PRs. And then I cross the finish line, and I see 54.4. And I just walked off the track, and then I see all the times, and first, second, third, fourth. I'm not up there fifth. I'm not up there sixth. And I'm like devastated. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you did so good. Like, the fact that you are even here after all of this and everything you experienced and all the injuries and all this and all that, you haven't been training, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but they don't know that. You know, like, they don't know that I've been going through all this. And who cares? Track does not wait for you. Yeah. Really, no sport waits for you. Nobody cares.
Life doesn't wait for you.
Life does not wait for you. Life doesn't say, oh, dang, but you was going through this and you was going through that and you lost this person, you lost this thing. Nobody cares. All that matters is what they're seeing. And that's what everyone saw. And that was hard for me to, like, experience. And after a few days, I just had blocked everything out because I knew from that moment on, like, it just was not going to help my mental health.
Not to try to get deeper, but I really just want to know, like, why you think like this. Is it fear of, like, being embarrassed? Like, if you lose, too many people see you, and that's how they see you? Or you think
yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of it. Yeah. It's just a lot of things. It's that, it's not wanting to lose, it's wanting to always prove people wrong. It probably really just stems from, like, growing up, like, in school. Like, that was hard for me. So I don't know, I feel like it's just a combination of a lot of things.
School here or back home?
No, school here. Like, from elementary school, I remember, like, teachers, like, I remember 6th grade, I had our math teacher, algebra teacher, or whatever, and I wanted to do pre-AP calc or pre-AP math or whatever, and I had signed up for it, and she pulled me aside and she told me, like, she doesn't think that I should sign up for it because she doesn't think that I was capable of, like, being in that class and doing well in the class. And she was like, yeah, so I'm just going to erase your, yeah, right. And she was like, I'm just going to take your name off the list. You don't need, just go ahead and go with the regular. And I'm looking at her like, okay. So I was like, all right, fine. That's what you want. I remember so much, like, teachers would, like, tell me, like, no, don't do this. Or
teachers, though?
Yeah,
that's
teachers.
That's crazy. I don't think I've ever really...
No, nobody ever believes me, but I'm telling you, these teachers, that's what they would say to me. And then kids, too, like...
No, yeah, the kids were bad.
Kids were bad.
But if you're African growing up in America, it's tough. Not even that, if you're any other culture...
anything that's not white...
It's bad.
It's bad.
White or black, if you're not, like, a black American, you're gonna be rough until you get to high school. Yeah, I feel like in high school it was better because it was more like people wanted to be that. Because you remember how everyone was wearing those
Dashikis.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro,
What
how
are you
you
doing?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, literally like 5 years ago, y'all were calling me fucking African
Booty
booty
scratcher.
bro, basic.
African booty scratcher, the most basic of
Oh
the
my
basic.
god.
I remember they would click at me. Not to name
Oh
any
my
names, but they know who they are.
bro.
But they would click at me. They would. I remember like when I first came to Collins Elementary, and they all, I guess the teachers had told them like, she's from Nigeria. She just came here like a year ago, and I remember those kids. They were like, so, like, did you live in mud houses? Did you have to use your own poop to wipe the house to as mud and all this stuff? Like, and I'm looking at them like, I lived in a regular home.
And it's just like, what is America feeding y'all? Like,
what do you think? Did you starve?
Like,
did you ride zebras and giraffes? Did you pet elephant? And I'm like,
what? My mom doesn't like cats more than a lion, bro. What you talking about?
And I just never understood it. It never clicked for me because I'm looking at them, and this was first, second grade. I'm looking at them like, what are you asking me? I've never even seen a zebra.
Exactly, bro.
I live regular. I mean, obviously there were things that were different. We didn't have showers. We just had to fetch water from the well, and that was it. But the water was clean. Village. Even like where I stayed at, we didn't stay at the village, but we didn't have showers. Really? We had a well that we would have to draw water from. We would boil the water, and we would use that water to shower or to clean ourselves. Like, we had soap though. Like, we weren't dirty people. Yeah. We didn't go peeing on the streets. Like, these people really thought that I was dirty. And
then it's like whenever I was growing up and seeing that, I always wondered, because I was like, I watch the same TV. I literally started watching National Geographic. I'm like, yeah, but National Geographic doesn't show it that bad. It's really the school system only teaching like 1% of Africa. I'm just like,
and then everyone thinks that Africa is just a poverty strict. Everywhere is just poverty, and I'm looking at them like, we have houses bigger than the ones that you live in right now.
I was just like, I remember whenever I went to Africa, I made it a thing to take a lot of pictures, and I came back and people were like, you have cars? I'm like, and I can't. It honestly got to the point I couldn't blame them, because it's the same way people from New York, whenever they think of Texas, they think everybody owns a horse. Yeah, everyone's like a cowboy. So like, I'm thinking the school district from New York to Texas is completely different. So I can only have pity for them from Texas to Africa. I'm like, yes, they could have. That everyone has a phone. Yeah, they could have looked it up and just say, what does Nigeria look like? It's Saw House. We have beaches. We have beaches better than Texas, nasty as Galveston.
Simple Galveston.
Yeah. Like, bro, like if you go to Nigeria, like look up Lagos. Like,
literally, we have one. They don't know.
Yeah, like Lagos is one of the best ports in Nigeria. Like, shit's going in and out, and like just natural resources. America isn't shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like America really doesn't have anything. They have enough to survive or to maintain, but they don't have enough to live off of. Like, without other countries, especially Africa being one of the biggest one. Yeah. For things ranging from jewelries, just for the rappers, to shit to fill up your G-Wagon, like gas.
Yeah.
Africa is really the backbone. And sadly, it doesn't show it like that. No. But there's so many things they do. Damn, what were we talking about?
We were talking about African countries and how they're nice. The point is, people are ignorant. Yeah. And just, at this point, we can do our own research. We can Google. Like, Google is a thing now.
Oh yeah, like the Africa or the map. If you look up how big Africa really is compared to America, they like belittle it by making it smaller, not making it actual sizes. And I saw that, and it's just like one of those little things that like is easy to look over, but it's the same thing as, why is it whenever you think of black, you automatically think of something negative? When you think of white, you automatically think of something positive. Yeah. It's just like little things that we, as a society, we've been like kind of brainwashed in a sense. Yeah. And so that's why whenever I heard that, it just kind of like made me really think. I'm like, wow, they really did everything to the tiniest thing of like the size of Africa on a map to belittle it. But
It's wild.
that's something we can get into another day, man. So sociology, man, mixing with the history of Africa.
I'm so dead.
Nah, but so growing up, you're very crazy, pretty much is what I'm hearing. You're very like strict, go getter. Come from an African background, which I instantly think anyone that's like comes from a foreign background kind of have a sense that you have to make it because your parents. All that mixed in, how do you think that's gonna apply to your career?
The truth is, I don't think that the way that I approach like my athletic career is how I'm gonna approach my career in like the workforce. I really don't think it's gonna be the same
Why?
type because it was just such a different mindset. It was like I don't know, it was just different. It just was not this it's not the same. Like the way I am, like I know like some people, the way they feel when they're about to run or when they're about to compete for anything is how they feel when they're about to have an exam. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
You don't get nervous or anything?
I don't get nervous for exams.
Yeah.
That doesn't do that to me. Only because like in the classroom, I feel like in a way I can kind of control what happens.
How?
Because you can study for the exam. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like you know what's happening. You spent all this time, like if you didn't study, you know what's gonna happen. If you studied, you know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? In track and field, you can work really hard, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. You almost just never know, unless it's like the situation I was in, like conference when I was almost 2 seconds ahead. But even then, like, do you really know? Like anybody can
just have a really good meet.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's so much. It's so like inconsistent because you never know what's gonna happen on the track, no matter how hard you work. At practice, the amount of times that I would run 300 or 350s that were at like a 50-second pace, and I would hit those 50-second marks, and then I'll come to the meet, and you would think like she just went at practice and ran a 300 in 37 seconds. That's 51-second pace. There's no reason why I should come onto the track and not do that at a meet, and I don't do it at a meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not because it's not in me. It's because it's just not the time. And you just never know. And I don't like that. I don't like not knowing exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. I just want things to happen the way I've already seen them happen and the way I've already trained for them to happen, you know? And it's just not the same in the workforce. Like once you apply for your job and you get the job, you know what to expect. You know, obviously there's going to be some levels of adversity that you have to overcome, but overall you know what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. I'm not just in track, but basketball, football, anything. You don't know who's going to win. You know, it's just not the same.
Do you think that as you go into the workforce that your anxiety is going to come down?
Yeah. Even now, since not competing, my mental health, anxiety, all of that has like really been at bay. I haven't been feeling the way that because I feel like that 24/7, even in off season, even when we weren't competing. That's how I felt. Now, like, even though it sucks that I haven't been able to compete, and as much as I do love to do that, my mental health is definitely like, it's just been a lot better. I'm able to do a lot more things that I want to do. I have more time to learn more about myself. Like, who is Chika outside of running track and field? And focus on my career, focus on getting internships. And I mean, and that's been really nice for me because now I feel like I'm like wrestling with who I can be without having to attach athlete or track and field to that. And I think when you add like the athlete or whatever sport you play, when you attach that to who you are, I feel like you kind of have like an expectation of yourself. and you have to kind of live up to that. Like, this is what I did in high school, and this is who I was. I went to state and I won, and I did this and I did that, and then you come here and you're like, I kind of have to live up to that. When you attach that what you did at state to your personality, or who your character, or who you are coming into, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like it's just a different like mindset. At least for me, it is.
No, honestly, that was gonna be my next question. I was gonna be like, have you like thought about who you are without track? But I mean, that's good that you're already thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I remember whenever, for like lack of better words, I feel like COVID happened in the best time. Obviously not for everybody, but for me personally, because whenever I stopped running track, COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I had nothing else to do but to think. And so like a lot of my days were just spent, who are you and who do you want to be? I have a mirror in my room, so I'll just like literally sit down and just look at myself. I'm like, who are you? Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
I would just spend days writing, just thinking. I'm like, well, like, what is my next step as Sam at the skinny legs, high socks that like to run?
I remember.
Yeah, bro. That's what so I literally had to break off who I am without running. I didn't really do that good of a job because instead of running, I just lift now.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm still it's the same difference. But then I just like I feel like the reason I asked you, I'm like, do you feel like you carry that like energy to your career? Because I feel like that's what I did. Instead of putting all my time into track, I just put it into something else. I was like, I need something to keep my brain working like that. And since I couldn't run, I just made a podcast. I just wrote a book. Ever since I stopped running track, I've been taking 18 credits because I was like, I need something to like give me that same feeling. And even at that, I still don't get. Even whenever I'm like lifting, like almost a month ago, I was deadlifting 480, but that shit had nothing compared to like whenever the what's the name? The next name that shoots the gun. No, where it's like there's no feel. The starter, yeah. There's no feeling of like the gun going off that I'm able to like regain. The only time I feel that is whenever I go running. Like every once in a while, I'll go running just to go run, and like there's no feeling like that, which kind of sucks because now it feels like the peak of like of my life was there in running, and now everything is just like it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't do track. You hate it.
You think? Don't say that. Don't tell the people that.
Nah, and it's just like I don't know. Even that I don't run. Like people know that I run, and they're just like always. Whenever they don't talk about me running, they're like, "What about your kids? Do you think you force your kids?" I'm like, one, I'm not even thinking about kids. Two, I'm just like, it's so like you can't get away from running. Mm-hmm. Even whenever, and like I was decent, so I could only imagine you. Your name, I feel like track is always going to be attached to your name. Definitely. In a good and bad way.
Yeah.
I feel like good because I feel like career paths, they like that. They're like, oh, you did track, you're just so good. That energy you put in track, you could put it into our business, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But then whenever you're just trying to be a regular, schmegular person, just do your job, you're going to be like, how was it running? You're that
all
girl.
The time.
And it's like, bro, relax.
All the time, yeah.
Have anyone ever asked for your autograph?
Yes. Yeah. It's like twice. It happened twice. Really? I don't even, yeah. One was in high school. There was a girl. No, it was middle school. There was this girl. I don't even remember her name. If I saw her, I would recognize her. But it was like after everyone was like, oh, wait, Chika's actually really good at running. And she was like, can I have your autograph? Like, because I feel like you're going to be great and everyone's going to know you. And I just really want to have your autograph so that I can tell people that I knew who you were. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And I just wrote my name. And then there was another time in high school, this girl, she also ran the 400, but she was like, you know, like those people who almost start like they just adore you. I didn't even know who she was. Like I had never met her before, but we had ran at the same meet and the same heat multiple times. And I guess this day she just got the courage to come up to me and she was like, I've always ran like against you and I always lose, like obviously, but I just wanted to know if I could have your autograph. And I was like, at our big age? We're the
She was
same
like
age. We're the same age. We're the same age. We're the same age. But I was like, you want my autograph? I was really lost. And I was like, we can have Snapchat. Like I can add you on Snapchat. We can add each other. We can, we can be cool. Because that's weird. What am I supposed to do? Be like, yeah, I'm going to sign. Like I'm a celebrity. I'm not.
To her, you are.
No.
To her, you.
That's what I was like. No, not when we're the same age. I would never do that.
Oh yeah, me personally, I don't think. Is there anyone that's 23 that I'll go up to?
You know what? I remember Cindy McLaughlin.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, it was my senior year when I started hearing about her and who she was. And she is a year older than me. And she's a grade above me. And I remember going into college. She was a freshman when I was a senior. And she was just cold. And even before that, I always thought I put on a pedestal because she's cold. You know what I mean? And one day it just hit me I can't think of her like this, because if she doesn't go pro and she continues running collegiately, at some point I'm gonna run against her. You know what I mean? We always run against these people, Tar Davis, Hunter, with all these people.
I was literally finna ask you that
all the time at track meets, and you see them, and these are regular schmegular people.
Yeah.
They're just regular people. And I was like, I can't put her on the pedestal. I can't do that, because if I have to ever run against her, I'm not winning because of how much I look up to her.
Yeah.
And it's cool that she can inspire me, but I'm not finna treat her like a celebrity. And from that moment on, nobody, at least in track and field, nobody have I ever looked at and been like, oh my gosh, this is this person. Not even Allison Felix.
Really?
No, she's cold. I mean, she obviously is a great athlete, one of the top athletes in track and field ever. I'm not denying that. But
you couldn't put her on a pedestal.
I can't do that
mentally.
I
and
can't.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
What you're saying isn't wrong. It's actually very mature. It's the right thing to do.
You're not supposed
but it's just
to.
crazy that you
obviously, if I've never met her before. And also at that time, my coach and a lot of other people were if you keep going on this path, you can go pro. You can go to Worlds, run for Nigeria. That was the goal. That was the goal this year. That's what I was supposed to do. This summer was go to Worlds. The Nigeria already was interested in me competing for them and for trying out for the team, because I was already eligible for all of that. So that was literally in the works. I mean, it was already in motion happening. So I was already, I can't put this woman on a pedestal, because if this really happens for me and I see her, what am I going to do? Fangirl over the person who's going to be either in the lane in front of me or the lane behind me if it ever got to that? You know what I mean? So I couldn't put none of them on a pedestal at all, because there was just no reason to, especially if I was in a position where I was going to run against them, So,
that's good.
Yeah, obviously it's easier said than done.
But it's so good to have that mindset. At least you have the foundation.
Yeah.
Because obviously, these are people we've seen running our whole lives. So if you go up, if you have the chance to see her, a little party's gonna be like,
right,
cool,
precisely.
Yeah, maybe after the race. Yeah, you're gonna go
after the race. I'm definitely gonna be like, can I have your autograph, ma'am, please? But look,
but
at the end of the day, we competitors. You can't, no matter who it is. Don't put anybody on a pedestal, because you never know. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to happen. You never know how it's going to turn out. So there's just no reason for you to be like, oh, this person, she did this and she did that. And I'm only saying that because I'm that person who would literally do that and be like, oh my gosh, I already ran against her 5 times and all 5 times I lost. Oh my gosh, I already did this. And because I'm that person, I know exactly how I am. So I have to overhype it and be like fake it till you make it, literally, So I'm just speaking from experience.
Yeah. I do remember whenever I put 2 to 2 together and realized Hunter went to Arkansas and Morgan went to Arkansas.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna cap. I was fanboy. I was fainting. I used to be on his YouTube every week.
Really? I
Oh.
can't even cap me. Both of them. When the,
No,
like the
yeah.
little couple thing that they were doing.
I put Morgan on, bro. I sit there, I was like, bro, look at this
Yeah.
cute track code.
What?
And
Same.
then that's not real. I'm like, wait, he goes to Arkansas. Right away, I got on Snap. I was like, hey, do you know who Hunter is? And she was like, who? I'm like, Hunter, blah, blah, blah. What's his name? Woodlock.
Woodlock.
Some shit like that. But I just said Hunter. I'm like, oh, he doesn't have any legs. And she's like, yeah, he's on the track team. I'm like, you run with him? And she's like, well, not with him because he's a guy, but we're on the same team. I'm like, really? In my mind, I'm over here thinking like he has his own coaches, the whole.
Right. Like,
I don't know why.
These people are like gods.
And she was just like, yeah. I was like, we were just at team dinner at his place. I'm like, you've been in his house.
I can't even judge you because my senior year they came and they were training on the same track that my summer team was training on. And they were like, okay, guys, like finish practice and we'll sign autographs. We'll take videos, da-da-da-da. I took pictures with them. Posted on Twitter. It got like all these likes and I got a bunch of followers from it. And I was fangirling.
I would've
The next year, I'm like, anyways, I see her all the time. You know Charles Brockham Jr.?
Think so.
He goes to Texas. He's a hurdler, but he's really big on TikTok because he does like those skits where he imitates like movies.
He's a hurler at ET?
Yeah.
Is he dark or light?
Yeah, he's dark.
Okay, yeah. I think, yeah.
So he's like really big on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I only know of him because I've seen him at meets a lot, and then like high school and summer track and college, and like he's a regular person to me. And I remember like seeing his TikTok and I was like, oh dang, he big on TikTok. Okay, I talked to him before. Like he's a regular schmegular guy. And I remember like on Snapchat, I don't even know how it happened, but my sister messaged me. She was like, she sent me his video. She sent me his TikTok, and I was like, Charles, this man that runs. I was like, girl, I'm literally at the same meet as him right now. And she went crazy. She was like, oh my gosh, you know him? Oh my god. And I'm like, that is wild.
Do you think people fangirls?
No, I don't. I really don't. I don't see why. If they do, I don't think they do, but I don't see why they would.
I could definitely see people fangirling.
There's no reason to.
The fact that coaches were keeping up with you, and they're like, "Oh, so she's gonna actually run." Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right, no, people are keeping. I've heard, man, I'm your biggest fan. I be telling them. Yeah, I at least want to know. I'm your coach. I have to be your biggest fan.
Right, of course. You need help. No, I don't think people are afraid of girls. That would be a little strange. I've never, besides those two people that asked for my autograph, I'm sure they've grown out of that now.
No one's ever asked my autograph serious. Everyone that has been like a teammate's little sibling.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. And that was funny.
Yeah.
I remember the first time because I beat his brother. And I was just like, honestly, I'm pretty sure the only reason I beat his brother too was because he tripped at the starting line.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my gosh, my brother's the best. You beat him. And he let me sign his spikes because he ran track too. He's like, can you sign these? I looked at the mom. I'm like, can I sign this? Because I don't want to get my ass whooped.
Yeah.
Because your son's a dickhead.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't care.
You signed it.
Hell yeah.
I would have too.
Yeah. That shit was lit. That was like the best fun.
Nice.
I'm like, man, I'm slight, man. Niggas can't tell me shit.
You were a celebrity.
That shit went straight to my head.
I believe it.
No, it had no pit stops from my fingers to straight to my head. I'm pretty sure it was this vein right here.
I'm so dead.
All right. So usually to end the podcast, I always like to ask people 2 questions.
Okay.
What one piece of advice you would give to people about track, life, school, future careers, anything? And then what is one thing you've learned so far So one piece of advice, and then one thing you learn.
Dang. Okay. One thing I've learned in college, from the start of college to now, is to learn how to be your own person. For me, because I feel like I've struggled with that, and struggled with the approval of other people. And I think it's just now that I'm starting to. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
But you're saying be your own person. So is that like be your own person? Like make sure, like trying to have your like be your own person that doesn't attach to like a sport, or be your own person that doesn't like depend on other people's approval.
Whatever that looks like for you, because I feel like deep down people know exactly what they struggle with when it comes to learning how to be who they are. Mine was in sports. Mine was in friends. Like, I was so attached to just having friends because it's just what I wanted. I always wanted to be around somebody. I always looked for people's approval, like all of that stuff. And I'm just learning now. Like, it only took my entire life, but here I am learning how to grow outside of other people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be like this other girl. I don't need to have what she has. I don't even need to be where she's at. She doesn't have to be with me all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I can be who I am. I can learn how to go through life without having other people around me, So whatever that looks like for you, just learn to find yourself outside of whatever it is that you're locking onto in a negative way. That's what I would say. What's the other question?
Be yourself. What did you learn?
No, that's what I learned. Oh, advice.
Yeah.
My advice, like in college and just anything.
Let's do college track.
I think it would be to find your anchor. Like, I think college already is very hard because I feel like it's a new chapter in someone's life and learning who they are and all that. And I think that having an anchor, whether it's your family or a hobby, whatever it is, I think that that's very important to have. And then especially when it comes to adding sports to that, mentally it can be a lot. So I think that just having something that you can hold on to. Mine is my faith and my family. Like, there's nobody in the world that I'm closer to than my brothers and my sister and my parents. I'm talking to them every single day, especially my little brother. Those are the people that keep me anchored. And then I'm a Christian, so the word of God, being prayerful, all of that stuff, those are anchors for me. And that's what keeps me up, and that's what keeps me grounded. So I think that it's important for everybody. However long that may take, you just have to find an anchor, something that will keep you grounded even when you're going through really, really hard times, because no one can go through those things by themselves, So that would be my piece of advice.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Any social medias platforms you want to shout out?
Not really, because I don't really be on social media, so you can follow me, but there's nothing. And also, my first Instagram got hacked, so.
Did it?
I don't be on it because I can't get into it. Yeah, I made a new one, but I have not posted nothing.
I think I have like 3 Instagrams from you, and all of them have 0 posts.
You probably do have. One of them has more than 0. One of them has like 4.
So 0.
Okay, whatever. But yeah, and I don't even have Twitter right now. I deleted it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you've never been that big on social media, though.
Nope. Yeah. You really only see me on Snapchat.
Yeah. Even I don't get on Snap anymore.
Yeah, I'm not on Snap like that too much anymore either. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You did better than you thought. You were
really
super shy.
I really thought I was going to be shy and nervous and shaking.
You did great.
Thanks. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Except on my podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm starting one.
You should.
I'm not.
Okay.
That seems like a lot. I don't know how you do it.
I just kind of,
You have fans? Do people write you?
yeah.
Really?
I got a few autographs.
Really? Like from your... oh. I was about to be really impressed. But I mean, speak it to existence, I guess, you know?
Facts.
Yeah.
Anything?
And on that note...
Oh, yeah, you could take us off.
How do I do that?
I don't know. How are you going to do it right there?
I was just going to be like, and on that note, we'll see you next time on...
Hey, this is therapy. It's like, on what?
I don't know.
All right, yeah. See you later, alligators.